And hello again, my name is Dylan Black. It's Daytime Ottawa. Welcome to another brand new episode. You know, it's definitely that time of year. 3 craft shows is what we're about to talk about right now. Joining us, the communication coordinator from the National Capital Artisans, it is Yves Quinty. Hello, Yves.
Hey, Dylan.
Busy time of year for you guys.
It is. It is.
My goodness. Are we really going to be talking about 3 upcoming craft shows?
We are.
That's good. And I know you brought lots of great stuff. We'll talk about that. National Capital Artisans. Now, you recently went through a merger?
We did. There were 2 Artisans Guild that existed before. The oldest one was the Ottawa Artisans Guild, which dated back to the early 70s. And then the first Cumberland Arts and Crafts Guild, which was from 1982. They became the Capital Artisans Guild. But most of the members of both guilds belonged to both. It was more costs to them. So we decided to bring both groups together and whatever other artisans weren't in those groups. So we now have kind of a super group of artisans, and there's over 100 artisans in there, some really talented people.
Makes sense to just simplify things.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Okay, so the importance of buying local. Obviously, that's a super important thing to do this time of year.
And it's buying local is something that's important, but also from the other side, these people, they don't make a lot of money off of it. I mean, they don't make even minimum wage, right? It's a labor of love for them. And they do it because they enjoy it. And it's some stuff that you will not find anywhere else, right? They're unique pieces. It's always fun to encourage local people. We try to encourage artisans that are non-members as well by inviting them to come to our shows and perhaps also joining the National Capital Artisans.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the items that you did bring.
Sure. Does anything strike your fancy here?
All of them.
Okay. I'll start with this one here.
I want to pick favorites, Yves.
Because I know purses are always a favorite.
Yeah.
These are made from recycled leather.
Really? Wow.
So this was an old skirt. This is an old jacket, I believe.
My goodness.
And they're all pieced back together to be repurposed, which is also a big thing these days.
Do you have the names of some of the artisans?
This happens to be my wife, Denise Quinty. So
okay. Well, that's why you went to it first.
Yes.
Smart man. Okay. Nice. And that's obviously something that you can find on display at one of these upcoming craft shows we'll talk about.
It is. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Great.
This is from Liz Fournier. She's with Elf Pottery. She made this one and this little fir tree here. And the glaze, the finish of the glaze is what really makes it.
Very pretty.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful pieces.
With all 3 shows that are coming up, so one is coming up this weekend, Lester B. Pearson High School,
Correct.
Holiday Magic Craft Show, and the other 2 we'll talk about. Different artisans at different shows, or you can see maybe repeats at some of the shows?
You can see some repeats, but in majority you'll see individual crafters and artisans at each show. So we have 75 artisans at the next show, which is a pretty big show. And the following 2 shows in Canada on the 23rd has about 50 artisans, and the last one in Nepean on Merivale Road has about 50 as well.
And it's great that you spread them out because, like I said, one's this weekend, the weekend of the 23rd, December 7th as well. So if people can't make it, they can definitely hit it up, at least one of them.
Exactly.
Let's talk about this cutting board that you brought, because you want to talk about the importance of cutting board maintenance.
Yes. So what I do is I woodwork.
Yeah.
Right. And one of the things that's very popular is cutting boards. Now, this particular cutting board is about 10 years old, and as you can see here, I don't know if the camera can see it well, but it's pretty beat up. It's all scratched up, and it doesn't look like much of anything. Cutting boards should be maintained regularly for simple food safety, first off, but also the wood needs to be taken care of that way. So I've taken the liberty, because this one was really beat up, I've actually sanded this side, and you can already see the change in color. Right? You couldn't see any color in there, and all of a sudden there's some color there. So the only thing we've done now is, because I've sanded it, it's a little thirsty. So what I use is mineral oil. If I can find this at any truck store.
Yeah, of course.
And this cost me $9 and will probably last about 10 years.
Really?
Yeah. Because you don't put very much. I'm going to put a glove on because I don't want to make a mess everywhere.
Okay.
And all you need that and a paper towel.
Okay, so how often should you do this to keep your
cutting board nice? You should do this as soon as you see it's a little dry, but at least every 3 months. And all you really need to do is put about a quarter to a loonie size on there and just spread it around. And you'll see right now the wood changes color dramatically. And it really brings it back to life. And what you do is you keep adding to the cutting board until the wood stops drinking, basically.
Yeah.
And once it stops drinking, you dry it off with another paper towel and stand it off to dry.
Simple as that.
Just as simple as that. As you can see, it really brought some life back to the board.
And you can give that out during the holiday season. Nobody would know.
Absolutely not.
It's not brand new.
Sawdust.
Yeah. Well, that's something. That's a helpful tip right there.
There you go.
Thank you very much, Yves. Would you like to showcase some of the other items that you brought here?
Yes, so one thing that's very interesting, this painting was made by Carol Renault, who's an artist from L'Orignal.
L'Orignal, Ontario.
Just outside of Hawkesbury. And so that's how far our
Here's a little more.
Our association goes to is all of Eastern Ontario. And so I asked her for a piece for this segment on the show, and when I saw the piece, I said, "You're not getting it back," and I bought it from her.
Oh, that's good. I'm sure she's happy.
Yeah, it's going to go in my office.
That's wonderful. Can we just quickly talk, because there's just about 45 seconds left here.
Yeah.
Those 3 craft sales. Let's hammer home the dates, the locations.
Okay, so we have Lester Beer Pearson this upcoming weekend from 10 to 4, Saturday, Sunday. We have the 23rd and 24th at Earl of March in Canada. And the December 7th at the Confederation Education Center on Maryville Road.
Maryville Road, yeah. Are you still looking for artisans to join?
There's still room. So if you go to the website at nationalcapitalartisans.ca, there is a spot for events. You can go and register.
And information how people can become members of the National Capital Artisans as well. Thank you very much, Yves.
It's a pleasure.
Good job.
All right.
We've got much more coming up on Daytime. The Snowsuit Fund joins us in moments on Rogers TV.